Brainiacs. You know. Hey, Jim, man. What is going on, everybody? Let's just cut to it right there. Not even no blend, just bam! In ya! Here we are. Hope you guys are doing well. Yeah! Let's see if what we can't get into tonight. I got my buddy from Australia, Mr. Jeremy Martin, with me. So on the other side of this introduction, you guys get to meet Jeremy. Those of you that don't know Jeremy, he's a longtime friend of mine. I've known him for quite some time. And he's rather unique. He's got his own... He and I both, you guys know, I have zero fucks given when it comes to, like, a lot of people's opinions, their views, especially, like, big government. And that's why I think me and Jeremy get along so well. Because he has zero fucks given, too. So you guys noticed this past week, we had a scheduled show that kind of got canceled with some shit that come up in my life. And, the name of the show was Jeremy Martin, The Gloves Were Off. So we're going to talk to him about that and a whole bunch of other topics. Whatever you guys want to bring to the show tonight. It is Open Line Madness night. Like always, let's see what we can't get into and see what kind of trouble we can't cause. All right? Share this broadcast. Share this podcast. Let's go, homeschools. Crank that shit up right now. What do you say, Brainiacs? You guys ready? It's time. It's showtime, brains. That's right. It's Matrix time. And it's go time. Welcome aboard, everybody. Let's go. Welcome. Conspiracy, controversy, and anything and everything that we can get into tonight. Let's go. Come on, Mr. Andy Katz. He says, crank that shit up and break the dial right off their radio. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Get up, Brainiacs! Yeah! It's definitely your show. Your show, and we appreciate you for being here. Buckle up, everybody. Aboard. Brainiacs. Let's go on over here to the Brains chat and see everybody with the guest, Mr. Jeremy Martin. Jeremy, my friend.
Hello.
He says hello. You are looking like, yeah, you're looking manic. You're looking crazy. With wow. What's dude, you had that glow going on. You had the glow. You had them crazy ass eyeballs and the glow going on, coming right straight through the darkness. What's up, Jeremy Martin?
It was blinding me.
It was blinding you?
All right, there, you'll be able to see me now.
What's up, man? It's been a minute since you've been on the broadcast. It's been a while.
Yeah, look on. I was living in the bush and radioactive bushland, bearing on my hard drives, all kinds of stuff. And mostly in the clean now.
Burying hard drives. Shh.
Yeah.
Hiding jump drives, burying hard drives Fa la 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 la.
And sending flash drives everywhere.
All right. So,
Oh, it's so hot here.
what is
They
it
call
there
it
in Australia? It's
currently
what,
record temperatures.
about a what did you say it was? You guys are on Celsius, don't you?
Yeah, and wasn't it like 40 Fahrenheit there, and it was 40 Celsius here, which is a bit funny, right? At the same
Shit, no. The other
40,
day,
40.
yeah, that's right. 40 is 40 degrees Fahrenheit here, 40 degrees Celsius there, and it was like 100 and something degrees Fahrenheit where you're at.
Yeah,
Right?
I'm not sure what calculates to Fahrenheit, but it's been in the late 30s, early to mid 40s here a lot lately. But it's a bit cloudy lately, so I can actually go for a walk and everything in the heat. Probably a little bit sunburnt. Glad I wasn't like this when I was in the bush and everything.
When some of these guys up here don't know you. Some of them do, some of them don't. I don't even know. I know, but I did. It's just my
I've had to
huh?
introduce myself in many different ways, and with limited information, I can do it myself. I've done it 100 times before.
All right. You go ahead. Who is Jeremy Martin?
Well, I'm not a who, but a what, and what I am. It's a long story. I am the founder of Anonymous, amongst many other things. I am a former spy and a whole bunch of things. A long, complicated story. Said before, I was surviving in the bush. I was chased by police in helicopters and stuff like that. Long story we can get into if you want. And it's pretty much over now after 10 years, or seems to be. But I'm a lot of things. People typically, what maybe my identifiable traits would be probably my humor, my knowledge, and my computer skills. Probably, I'd be known for the most.
Margaret?
I say a lot of outrageous sounding things, but they're all true, and I can prove it all. Almost all of it.
Well, you've pretty much documented everything from the gang stalking to the police beating down your house, beating down the damn door.
Over and over again.
We've got countless video, numerous audio where your ass has just been put to the fire for a very long time. A very long time.
And can I just say something on that? It's a very important thing. Now, the term gang stalking. Now, of all the people who would claim to be gang stalked, now I think everyone knows that most of them are just attention seekers, and they might get a bit of Truman Show syndrome happening in their head, and they're a bit confused.
Right.
But don't let that take from the minority, and an ever-growing minority, mind you, of gang stalking. You think that police wouldn't behave like 5-year-olds, but they really do. Oh boy, well, police at 3 a.m. giggling, hiding in your bushes at 3 a.m. This is literally what they do. It's all they do. They don't do actual police work. They just sit there stalking people, smashing doors down, and doing degenerate child behavior. It really is that bad.
We got to remember,
practically everywhere.
We got it on video. There is nothing. This is the kicker. Like Jeremy said, those that claim to be gang stalked, I would love to see the majority of those that are claiming that to have the same footage that you've got. Dude, I've got footage on my machine that you've sent me of you literally chasing these bastards down the road, saying with your camera in your hand.
Oh, you're talking about Baldy Man. You're probably talking about that Baldy Man guy.
Yes.
Yeah, it turns out that guy officially doesn't exist. He does not. I was right about everything. He does not work for the people that he's supposed to. They don't know him. He's basically, as I said, he was a police planned to pretend to be someone he's not, to provoke, assassinate me, everything under the sun, and try to make up stories and stuff. And I got proven right in the end, and it all got admitted. And in fact, Mr. Orange, who should be watching, actually, I should check if he's able to watch it. He'll let me know. He says he can't see it yet. I don't know. I'll sort it out in a minute. But Mr. Orange was there with me in the court case and everything. The government admitted everything. I'm still waiting for the transcripts that I paid for.
You know what?
To
They
publicly clear
they
my name
won't
of this.
let go of that shit. You and I talked about that. You know what? I
10 years, man. 10 years.
That you and Larry Hawkins have got a lot in common. You really do. Larry is
Was that the guy we were talking about the other day?
yeah. He is a military man that is pretty much bound to his own property. The government has his own little town has pretty much got him secluded to his own little property. Can't go nowhere. Can't go see his daughter because, well, here's the thing.
That's what they do.
Oh yeah, man. They'll
take your car. They don't want you to travel. They want you where they can watch you at all times. Where if you go away, they'll be able to know where you're going, and they freak out when you go off the grid.
Well, I don't know what to say other than I keep waiting. I keep waiting for somebody to beat on my door. I told you that, but here's the thing. I think after being on the broadcast for as long as I have, I do believe in the people I know. I know a handful of ABCs, a lot of policemen, and I'm friends. There's some of them watch the show. Okay, they enjoy the show, and then there's probably some of them that are forced to watch the show, but nevertheless, right? But they know where I live. Trust me, they know where I live. And they also know that the moment they come beating on my door, I will be putting my phone in their face going, are you even real? Dude, I would be like you. I'd be, right. Are you real? What the fuck is going on here? Besides that.
This is just after we're just talking about gang stalking. This connects. This is a very important point I'd like to say here.
Okay.
Is I said an ever increasing number of people who are legitimately actually being gang stalked. It's only going to rise until there's nothing left of civilization. But a lot more people. You're going to see a lot more surveillance state, police state kind of abuse of power in every corner. It's all been orchestrated for a very long time. And if there's any police or government officials, but especially police-related officials, I just got a message to you. Have you ever stopped to think about what you're doing and the consequences of it? Look at every game and movie and work of fiction. It's always the same story that you're the bad guys. You're the ones who are getting in the way of the heroes. You're the ones who are running all the crime syndicates, blah, 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 blah. You're the NPCs that the player has to, mow down 100 corrupt cops to get the villain and save the innocent lives. You're the bad guys. And this has been known for generations, long, long time. Think about the consequences that you don't have public support. Therefore, you're not legitimate. And I think it's more than just simply questioning those who are still police officers. The reason why police are downhill so far, so quickly over time, is because all the legitimate police and government officials have all resigned. They know the systemic corruption is not solvable from within. It has to be done from without. And the finger should be pointed at those who are still there. You know that there's systemic corruption in their organization. And what are you doing about it? Good cops dob on bad cops. They don't just turn a blind eye and say, I'm just doing my job. Well, your job is to take a bullet for me. So do it. Take a bullet for me right now. Do it.
Jeremy, we've talked about it.
Sees you guys as the bad guys.
We talk about that a lot here. And the dude again, I got to go back to Larry because Larry has got me on the main line where I tell them all. If you know about the problem and you don't fix the problem and you can, then that makes you part of the problem. That's right.
That makes you the bad guy.
That's right.
That makes you the villain. Yeah.
Yeah, you've been through a rigorous, systematic beat down your own self for a very long time, and I'm glad to see that you've come out on top, and they're literally leaving you alone.
Yeah, that last court case, they had everything writing on that, and if I would get Mr. Orange to say anything, we can get a message through. But he saw it firsthand. They admitted, yes, I am the founder of Anonymous. Yes, I am being persecuted here. And everything I say, everything I said about my life story, about what I've done, it's all true. The judge, before the government even admitted, the judge was already won over. And I don't know where to begin. It's so bad. But the last court case was like, I got to tell you this. I got to say this point. Just to show how bad it is. It's unspeakable. I couldn't begin to explain how bad it is. But this one point will give you just an idea. Let's just say I am the founder of Anonymous, and they're taking into court, the founder of Anonymous to court to frame him in the most ridiculous court case you could ever imagine. And in order to even prosecute him in this court case, he has to organize your stuff for you and give you evidence for you. And the government systems and the courts computer systems are all down, and they've been getting worse and worse now, or completely broken over the course of a week. And the founder of Anonymous has to also fix the court computer systems. The judge gives me access to their systems and everything. The founder of Anonymous.
Right.
And I said, "You sure you want the founder of Anonymous access and all your man stuff?" He's, yeah. And I had to fix their own systems for them so they could frame me in court. And it didn't work.
You know what? These guys, it was funny. I'm watching these, Michelle and Christopher's like checking audio. Dude, you can see my screen. You can see where I am just in the red and you are just in the red. We can't turn our volumes up anymore, really. So
is the volume really low? Is it?
Yours is like it could be up a little bit more. It peaks from time to time, but I can't turn mine up anymore, or it will begin to go into the cherry patch and get distorted. So,
okay.
Yeah,
I had to turn the speakers up here.
If you,
I can hear it fine now from my end, but obviously it's not the same as on the playback.
If you can bring that,
if you got your output, you able to put it up?
I did. No, I mean it is what it is. These guys, we go through this from time to time. Depending on the topic, okay. Depending on the topic, right now we're talking about some pretty heated shit. Larry Hawkins says it's perfect there. Tina Danley says perfect. She can hear it. Christopher, people. I just don't know.
Yeah. So, can I just confirm? I just played it, and it's good. The audio is good here.
Jeremy, let me ask you something, because what exactly, I've shared with a couple of people in the chat, in the Matrix chat here, that you've got, I guess what sucked my my want to know more about you, sucked me into wanting to know more about you as a guy, as a being, as a friend. You had a 11-hour, whenever I first met you, you're like, Matt,
11.
Yeah,
11
okay. Was 13 hours, I do believe, right?
I've got some addendum stuff, and it's about 5 hours right now. But I've got like hundreds of hours beyond that. I've got a ridiculous amount of story and evidence, and a lot of rabbit holes you wouldn't believe.
This dude he's like, if you want to know about me, just watch the audio and watch this video, and then we'll talk. That's what I said. I'm like, what? Yeah. You said, if you don't watch the video, then don't even bother. I'm like, man, you got to be shitting me.
I don't think I said that. I said,
yes, you did.
You probably never understand me properly until you watch the story.
That's true. Okay. So I watched this marathon of a streak, and all through the
we
video.
It together.
Yeah, and I'm watching this, and I'm talking to him, and I'm like, wow. The part that really got me, this one here, folks, is let me. I want him to. He could probably share it with me, but this dude has got something in his head. Okay, besides the brain, I'm talking
something. That was just the photo you're talking about is just one cluster of them. I've got more than that.
He has got a chip, a microchip in the core the core of his cranium. Core.
Connected to my basal ganglia, yeah.
So hear me out, because this is where I want, whatever everybody, like, that's a bunch of bullshit. That's an implant. Really, Felicia, check this out, because that's not an implant. Because think about this. It's connected to, let's just put it this way. It's connected to a seed inside of the apple's core. Now, if it's connected to the seed of an apple's core, that means that it had to have been put there from growth, right?
Well, at least at an early stage. As from my understanding, I'm not like the rest of you. I'm a bit different in some ways, but it's part of why. But yeah, my story says that I'm a grafted creature, and that was part of the grafting.
Grafted.
Yeah, and it didn't happen at conception. That happened like weeks after, within within weeks or 2 months, most probably.
Now I shared with some close friends that you Jeremy, they've also, if they want to learn about you, they gotta like really dig into your story as well. But
I've got a lot of stuff to.
What I told them the most is you significantly remember the coming here at Spark. You remember coming here in
the
spark of birth.
You mean waking up in the womb, right?
The spark of birth, yes. The waking up of the womb.
Yeah, like I got memories and things happened before that because I was grafted. I was around before that, but I was disassembled and part of me was grafted into this. Because I was already a grown man that was grafted into a new host. This is why I was able to retain memory, and people don't seem to understand why children don't remember when they grow up. They don't remember when their early childhood. There's a reason. It's the same reason you have baby teeth and adult teeth, right? Your whole personality, you may even call it your soul or whatever you want to call it. It has to go through a baby phase, and you got like there's two personalities. There's your baby personality with everything's very different for survival and stuff like that. But those things interfere with being an adult. So just like your teeth, you have to shed the baby personality, and the adult one kicks in. And because that's where you lose your memories alongside that process. But because I was already grown, I was able to retain all those childhood memories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember being in the womb. I remember being born. I remember early childhood. I remember everything. And I also remember before that. I'm not talking about past lives or anything. I'm talking about a continuous existence being grafted and disassembled and stuff like that.
I'm trying to find a black panel. I've got a cool dark, all dark.
Could I say something? If anyone is interested in not just my story and a lot of rabbit hole stuff I can prove the solution to virtually every important problem on top of all this. And I got the stuff, a lot of it prepared in video form, not only just video format, but especially video format, that I can show people, and I can be there to answer questions for people in private or in Discord or whatever. As much as I'm available to people as much as possible. Anyone has any questions?
There it is. There's my black panel. I just go over there, good, because I got something see through here. There it is, my black.
I'll just say one more thing.
Yeah.
Me and Matt here, we kind of have it like an unwritten rule. We spontaneously have these late night conversations, and he's always the same. I wish I recorded all this. He's almost missing.
Oh yeah.
We'll never have that conversation again. But dude, well, next time we'll talk. We'll have a few beers, and the same thing will happen. But because of that, we just talk about all kinds of stuff, and that's the best kind of conversation. So we usually go into these things with no set topic, and we just go in the blind. It kind of works better that way, doesn't it?
It works best that way, Jay, because
there's so much stuff. Like when you got a lot of content to deliver, you don't have problems picking topics.
Do you see what Mish says? Mish is asking. She's like, "Hey, Jeremy, do you dream about stuff?" And what
my dreams seem to be different than other people's, but yeah, I do have dreams. I even have nightmares sometimes. I mean, when you're literally chased by police who mean to torture and kill you, and you're like hiding in a hole or something, or a bin in a place, or you're living in the bush, chased by helicopter, waking up to helicopters. You tend to have nightmares about being chased. But I don't see that as a bad thing. It's your body training you for the threats and processing threats and learning how to solve them in your sleep. It's a good thing in its rightful place. But yes, I
You
do have dreams. I usually have dreams about solving problems. Really cool dreams. Like I wake up from a lot of dreams. I think, oh, I wish I could turn that into a movie or something. I got to write that down. It was awesome. I have those kind of dreams all the time.
do you see where Larry? Do you see where Larry dropped that Gen Mod platforms are everywhere? Do you see that?
It's hard to see because of the injuries, my eyes are bad.
All right,
I see. Was it Morgan something, Airbrush something, and
yeah,
then Larry
Morgan's like the woo
Gen
woo.
Mod?
I love the woo woo.
I
And
see
just
it.
to, we all talk. Your story. If Morgan's and these guys tell like the wild, I realize that it's cool. I believe you, Larry, and you again are really a lot alike and on the same page. He's the fellow that I told you that believes that we are in a womb, right? Possibly
That's what I say.
in a womb,
That's exactly what I say.
and we're just floating through Never Land, and it's just like we are reflecting back on memory or something. It's weird how
That's
he
true.
puts it, but where were we
Not
at,
sure
Jeremy?
if everything else will be the same, but that's like at least what you just said there is bullseye for what I say.
Yes, it is.
Like I say that what I say is you're still under construction. That's what the evolutionary process is doing. You're still
More
being
is like,
constructed.
wait,
People don't
what? Tell it. Would you mind at all telling them your backstory? I don't.
my backstory.
Yeah. Would you mind telling them your backstory, Jeremy?
Yeah, sure. Now, if I just warn you in advance, a lot of this is going to sound like nutter kind of crap, but when you start looking at the details and the evidence of me saying things about history and things like out in space, all these things that I couldn't possibly know, and you realize the extreme details of what I'm saying that are consistently proven right, and I've never once been proven wrong, you end up getting to a conclusion regarding a statistical impossibility. There's no chance I could be just guessing all this stuff. And if there's a chance I'm telling the truth, then you start looking at the evidence, it'll make your hair stand on end. Now I'm open to the idea of being wrong about anything, but those who look find something different than they typically would in someone who says strange sounding stuff like I do. So
Miss Margaret,
I don't
you're not
ident-
alone, sweetheart. Miss
yeah,
Margaret.
it's a very long, complicated story. There's only so much we can say here, so I'll try to abbreviate. And a lot of this is probably not going to make much sense because there's a lot of extended information on this. I don't identify from the same origin as the rest of you. As I said, I'm a grafted creature. I originate from what I call a garden construct before your universe was animated. I'm one of 7 siblings. One is now somewhat dead. And what I call the old man was the one that created us. It was more like a prison than anything. It was a very small place, and we grew up with only each other there. And the old man animated. He didn't create the universe. So he's not like the God that you would typically call God. He wasn't infallible or an all-powerful or anything like that at all. And most of him was a great mystery. He would not reveal much, and he wouldn't make any moral judgments. He wanted us to make our own moral judgments, and it's the whole purpose of creating us was to independently come to our own conclusions regarding morality and stuff like that, and to test the parts of himself against each other. That's a long story, but anyway, in the process of creating the garden, as we're growing up, he as we'd already basically grown up, he came to us with an announcement that that void, I call it, out there. It was like acid or cross TV static. It would burn away us and anything of order and anything that was alive, or whatever you want to call it. It would break it down like acid, in a completely dysfunctional, chaotic mess of a place, like a turbulent ocean of TV static. I just call it the void, and that's where you all come from. And it breaks down so much that the very flow of time isn't even coherent. It's like there's bits and pieces of temporary coherence flickering back and forth all over the place. Sometimes some might last for a little more than a moment, and it'll fizzle out. It's a giant mess where there's no clear rules. There's no proper communication between the base components of what's in there, and it's all a giant mess. And therefore, it's outside of time itself, even though time kind of exists sporadically, semi-coherently in that place. It's beyond time itself, and that's where you all came from. And what I understand, as I understand it, all of you, at least most of what you are, you're like a bunch of Lego pieces. Let's just say your soul, not your body, but your soul, for lack of a better word. It's not an individual. It's a bunch of Lego pieces, and those Lego pieces, some of those Lego pieces don't belong with other Lego pieces, and you're a big mishmash like that deformed creature in Alien 4.
Hang on for a second, Jeremy. Hang on. I definitely don't want to say anything to Miss Margaret that is going to upset her. I'm not going to say anything to make her hate me or anybody else up in here for saying the way we feel and or believe. Because let me say something, Miss Margaret. Here on this broadcast, you can take with you and have any belief that you want to believe. You want to believe the Roman Catholic belief, then that's fine. You want to believe in you want to believe in a Pastafarian religion. We don't care. I myself, Jeremy, we are independent of supposed religion. Okay, I don't buy into the narrative. I don't think that Jeremy buys into the Catholic, Orthodox Christian religion. We are just. So I'm just letting you know now, whenever Miss Margaret, that whenever you posted that, I don't want nobody to attack her. I really don't. If all else, please help her understand what she says. She says, I want to find out how to know myself. Now that right there stuck out to me. She says,
I've got techniques to that. I can help with that.
She's I'm 60 something years old and I still don't know who the hell I am. Margaret, that right there is really, really, really noble of you to say. I'm very serious, especially coming up into the Matrix here and a live broadcast and saying that. So I really, really commend you for saying that and sharing that with us. So how do you, Jeremy, before you go on with your story, because I know you're good at this, I know you're good at teaching, right? How the hell do you, in a world of...
There's a lot I was going to say there, but I'll skip to that because it's probably more important. So, when people talk about things regarding meditation, I say that they're wrong, but they're not far off. They just miss the mark on something. What they do is people try to artificially calm themselves in an unnatural way. What you need to go to is your base normal state. Don't go too calm, too energetic. Try to find a base, stable, normal state. Like you're just normal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you self-monitor. You pay attention. You introspect. You look inside. You observe your thoughts. Even your physiological body. Everything. Every input you have of yourself, even your surroundings to a lesser degree. You pay attention to everything, and you pay attention to how your body's interacting with itself and the outside environment, and you get to know that base state. So you got a good image, like a snapshot of it, right? And you just spend a little while there, just a few minutes, maybe longer if you're having trouble, and get used to being able to see that base state the best you can. And then what you do, you go while monitoring. You have to do this before while you're monitoring a base state, right? So you know where you started from. And then you go and do the thing that, if there's something that you do that makes you do something that you regret, or you do something and you get really excited about it, but you're not sure why you get excited about it. Any change from that natural state, that thing you want to, whatever you want to question about yourself, it's something outside that natural state. So you go and do that thing, right? Whatever that thing is. And you're monitoring along the whole way, right? And when and then it's like whack-a-mole. You can only see it. It's so fast, you can only see it if you're looking when it happens. So that's the whole point. If you're looking at your base state, and then something will just pull its head up and trigger something, and then so you'll go off on some tangent, and you don't know what it is, you don't know why you're doing this or that. That's how you see that little whack-a-mole. You have to record before, you like self-record before, monitor, and you go from that base state, and then you'll see the change. Maybe you have to do it a few times. Usually the first time you'll see something about yourself that you've never saw before. But that's how you got to monitor from before in a natural state. Not where you're just mindless and empty. You don't be empty. Just be at a normal base state. And then you observe the change. You have to be looking there for when it happens. That's the only way to do it. I hope that makes sense.
Jeremy, it does. I mean, that's your perspective of it. That's that's your way of doing it and going in.
I've taught others to do this, and they've learned a lot about themselves. It's not just.
I too I've had a lecture on knowing thyself, going inside, learning who. Again, it happened a lot. I think that lecture sparked whenever I finally broke free from the indoctrination of the worldly view, the way they wanted me and wanted everybody to see things.
Psychiatry.
Right. Okay. I will not pay a psychologist anything, because at that point I know that only thing I can do is change me. If there's something really wrong with my world, then it's obviously something that I am perceiving it that way. Okay. I need to look at it and go inside of me in order to change my viewpoint of the world. So I've got a whole different way of looking at it than you do. But going back to your past, going back to your story.
There's one more thing I just want to say on that topic though.
Mm-hmm.
I just mentioned briefly, I whispered psychiatry. Psychiatry is the greatest threat to the world, I say, and mark my words on that. If you don't understand why, you will in the near future, to your horror. But government endorsed psychiatry has all these deliberately false ideas of what you are and how you work, and that it's all backwards, deliberately, to disable and can take over your life. And they push all these dangerous, harmful ideas to prevent you from knowing and understanding yourself, to disable you and prevent you from fighting back against government corruption and all that kind of crap. But some of these false ideas is treating things like pain, fear, depression, even sadness, all these supposedly undesirable things, that there's some kind of enemy that you have to destroy and defeat and subjugate. And that is the worst possible thing you can do with these things. Rather, the whole way they're trying to label these things is opposite to the truth. You should see pain, for example. Let's just use one example. Pain is your friend. It is your friend that if you've fallen asleep at the wheel and you're on the mobile phone to them, and you're falling asleep and you're driving off a cliff, your friend's yelling at you to wake up and turn and hit the brakes. That's pain. It's trying to save your life. It's trying to help you. It's your friend. It's not the enemy. And when you treat it as an enemy, the pain will scream louder. It'll get worse. Your pain will be amplified, and pain will turn into suffering. And pain and suffering are not the same thing.
Mm-hmm. True.
And this is how a lot of people they learn how to psychologically endure extreme amounts of pain, is because they embrace pain as a friend. They make their peace with pain and understand what it is and what it's trying to do. See, there's a lot of things inside you, including like pain and stuff. They're like a friend that's trying to send a message. And if you ignore that message, it's just going to scream louder and louder and louder. And that's at the heart of most problems that people have in life. They're fighting something inside when they should be embracing it and listening to it. And you're the one who makes a judgment call, not them. They're the messenger of a message. They've got some kind of important alarm system's gone off, some importance happened, and they're passing on a message to you, and they're waiting for you to acknowledge the message and make a call on a judgment call, because you're the judgment call. They're not the judges. You're the one to do all that. And they're waiting on you, and you're not listening. You're holding your ears. You're pushing away. You're attacking them. Like, they're just going to scream louder. And I hope people understand that. These bad feelings, you should embrace and understand what they are. They're a friend who's trying to warn you and protect you about something you need. And people don't understand the language of their body. They don't understand the language of their mind, and they're disconnected from themselves, and they're fighting against themselves because they're mislabeling things, because the government's taught brainwashing them into thinking that, especially psychiatry.
Yeah, they say it's not okay. It's not okay.
Yeah, depression's not an
It's
illness.
I
Good thing.
agree with you. I completely agree with you. It's like there's people that I have got I'm friends with that have got diagnosed schizophrenic. I don't believe that
Yeah,
I don't
that's just yeah. There's no such thing as schizophrenia. It's not it's just a label of scrutiny, a smear to put people down. It's not an actual thing. The Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, which is the so-called mental health Bible. There's no such thing as mental health. It's a psychiatry Bible. It's called the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual. It doesn't have a single statistic in it. It's all pseudoscience. It's what I call the cult or profession of torture and execution for social control, the medieval Hermetic cult.
That's when
That's
we
all it
should
is,
be
and it's become
telling them
government enforced over the last 100 or 200 years.
it's
It's not what you think it is.
it's okay to simply be you. If you see other dimensions, if you experience life a little bit different than everyone else, it's okay. It's all right. That's just who you are.
Your experiences aren't who you are. Your judgments.
I said it's if you are experiencing it. That's what I'm saying. In other words, I've got people. We've got people that see people. We got people that see into other dimensions. I've got people that experience things that you and I don't experience. Like Michelle Espinosa, she's or Mish or Tammy or Morgan. We all see things different and experience things differently, and it's okay.
And we also will see, and people will see the same thing and interpret it differently. And that's why I said it's important to understand the language of your mind and your body,
Right.
because people are taught without even realizing how bad it is. It's so bad people don't even realize how bad it is. The government brainwashing into not learning and getting confused the language of your own mind. And if there's information in your mind and you don't understand the language, you can misconstrue something. Right. Like you'll see something, but you'll interpret it wrong because you think it means this when it means that. And if you don't understand the language, whatever you're experiencing or seeing across your life, make sure to be able to interpret it properly and understand the language, because that's where people go wrong.
Always question it.
Question everything. Yeah, especially yourself. It's not a bad thing. Yeah, they always say that's a bad thing. No, it's a good thing. If you don't question yourself, you're like a computer without an antivirus.
Right.
Right. So I'll go into my story.
Sure. Yes. Go back. Go back to give them tidbits. If not, just blow their mind. Like literally just blow their mind.
I've done this many times, so I'll try to hurry it up because I can speak for hours on all kinds of stuff. But so I was created in one of 7 children in what I call the garden construct before your universe was animated. Your universe was a formless void. It was a acidic, like static mess that would eat away anything of substance. It would just break it down to its base rates and just absorb it. It's like an ocean of chaotic mess. So the old man, without explaining why, he didn't explain anything. He wouldn't explain anything at all. He created some mechanism, machine or something so he wasn't doing it like with his magical thought powers or anything like that. He literally created some kind of machine that animated the parts of the void, right? And you all the true part of you, which is only a small part of what you call you, that part is the real you, the one that makes the moral compass, the tangent, the one that makes moral choices. That's the only that's the real you. The rest of you is not you. It's just a biological automaton. It's just a biological robot to allow you to make those choices. But parts of the real you are in the right place. Parts of you not. You're a merged creature of all different bits and pieces of disassembled other creatures. And the evolutionary process, the whole point of it is to reassemble the right parts together in their rightful place. And if you've not seen the movie Alien 4, that that creature, all souls, if you want to call them that, so for lack of a better word, in the universe, human or otherwise, are like that in a construction process, trying to rebuild the right pieces back together in the right way. And anyway, so when we'd grown up in the garden, the old you're still there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The screen's just gone. Okay, it's all right. I'll continue. The screen just changed. So the old man came and said that the thing that he'd been working on for so long, because he wasn't able to spend much time with us anymore, less and less time as went on, and we barely saw him anymore. And he finally revealed what he'd been working on that whole time. He was animating that stuff in the void. There's a long story to this. I have to just skip. It's all in my story if you want to watch all that. So he offered the animated void that you call the universe now, for me and my siblings to do as we please in. My other siblings were doing a few good things, but mostly really messed up things with no sense of accountability or responsibility. They do bad things and laugh about it. One of them specifically was very evil. He'd lost his way, and I couldn't stop him from losing his way. I did my best, but I couldn't stop him. And he's the one that's dead now. He's the one that messed up your world and started a whole lot of things that affect more than this world. But what he said, I said this in your Facebook comment recently too, by the way. He wanted, in order to get revenge on me and the old man, he had a butthurt bitterness against, a grudge against me and the old man from stuff that happened a long time ago. In order to try and win against us, and show that his ways were stronger, he searched around this universe, if you want to call it. It's more than one instances of it, by the way. It's many instances of it. This is just one instance of it. He went around looking for something, the most beautiful thing he could find, and what he found was on this world. Either all of mankind or a branch of mankind, I'm not sure which, but he saw something of the kind of beauty, the thing that I lived for, and the most beautiful thing he could find. He found on this earth, whatever it was. And his idea was to try and convince it to like, you wasn't going to forcefully corrupt it, but to convince it to turn to the dark side, and to try and grow seeds of evil within it, to sabotage and undermine it, and destroy it in the most humiliating way possible, in order to prove that his ways were stronger and to get to us, especially me. Just to show, it's like a toddler tantrum to show he was more powerful. And he's the one who's messed up your world. He's equivalent to what you would call Satan, but not very different in other ways. He's more like a Loki character, actually. But the mainstream religion is not very much like my story at all. Some parts are, some parts aren't. I mean, I've transcribed the Gospel of Mary, which is completely different than the Christian Bible, and it tells a completely different story that actually parallels my own. History has been vandalized more times than anyone realizes, and there's a reason for it, and he's part of that reason. But nonetheless, there's a great evil in this world. Everyone knows it, but they don't understand. They can't see it, and it took an outsider to dig this hole, and only an outsider can get you all out of this hole if you choose. I know so much I can do. It's a long story. Sorry.
You remember being, now let's fast forward this a little bit, because I remember the last time that you and I talked publicly. The last time we talked publicly, we were talking. You actually drew me and released a diagram of a ship. You remember? Yeah. You remember coming here on a ship?
Yeah. Can I just interject one thing? I'm not sure on my end if it's coming up right in the video properly, but it looks like my video is like 30 seconds out of sync. Sounds like the audio's okay.
Probably, possibly. Oh yes, that's very possible.
The video could be like 30 seconds out of sync. Yeah. But I know the ship you're talking about. Yeah, that was a ship I was given 13,000 years ago.
How? Wait, whoa. Say it again.
Yeah, that was a ship I was given 13,000 years ago.
Did you hear that? And he did not stutter. We also talked about the Black Knight satellite.
Yeah, there's only one photo that's legit. The rest are not. They're just other things pretending. They're just to smear the topic. But there's one photo that's real. Only one. And that's either my ship or the same model. I don't know. I don't know how some people got some of that information on that, but somehow they did.
Can you describe the mothership for everybody?
Oh, wasn't a mothership. You're talking about the mobile fortress.
Yes.
I have my own term. These are not, by the way, the terms that I use. There's no English variant for things, so I have to use the gist of what words mean. So all the terms I use, these are my own personal terms that I use, but there's a very, very important reasons I use these terms. So I call it the mobile fortress. It's a giant city in space. We live in. There's many of them. There's hundreds of them in the galaxy. there's a government, a galactic government that's been in operation for about 1.3 billion years, and it operates through these mobile fortresses, and that are spread out over long distances, like it's 100,000 light years from end to end. You know, the distances and time involved, everyone's very spread out. So their local mobile fortress is usually around 50 to 100 light years. It moves around about 50, 100 light years away. We live on like the outskirts of, like, if you've got like a city and then you've got the outer suburbs, we're like on the outer parts of those outer suburbs, not country land, but fairly far out, like we're really out of the way. And so the mobile fortress is about 50 to 100 light years away, and it's a giant mobile city in space. It can sometimes go places it needs to for political reasons, and usually spend like decades there, maybe hundreds of years at a time. It does move around. There's a lot I could say about it. I've got you know what I could do? This is a really good idea. I've noticed on this software, I can choose my visual input. Like I got a 3D recreation of that mobile fortress. I could walk around in it and show it. If you want.
I would have to like let you share.
No, I can think I can do it from here. Look, let me just try something. Let's just try this. Which inputs have we got here?
But you gotta remember, I would have to have you share your screen, and then it would be it
doesn't let me directly share my screen, but I think I've got a workaround here. Let me just try something. Just give me a sec. I've got an OBS virtual camera option, so if I just grab one of my screens, right, and then I'll start my virtual camera on, and it's appearing. Let's see that. I just selected virtual camera.
Hey, look, there's me and you.
You see? Okay. Do you see my that's the image of
again, I'm gonna have to, in order to get this, I'm gonna have to go and
is it working or not?
It is, but you totally screwed me up. So now I'm gonna have to hang on a second. Let me go to my web share. Hang on, just stay where you're at. Don't go nowhere. I'm gonna go ahead and make it. Yeah.
You don't need to make it big. You can keep it small.
I'm gonna have to. Hang on a damn minute. There we go. All right. So now they can see what the hell you're seeing. All right. There you go. That's fine.
Let's go open my story and Unreal
Let
Engine.
me get this the hell out of the way. Hang on. There we go.
Whoops.
Let me close that. Close this. All right, Jay.
Let me accidentally close it. Let's just do it again. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Let's go options. We'll go mobile fortress level. Now, hopefully.
Oh yeah, you're lagging now. Now they've got you lagging.
Yeah, that was just loading. That's just loading. It shouldn't be loaded. It shouldn't be lagging. Oh, hang on. It's still just let me load it in. Okay, it's still loading. Hang on. It shouldn't be too bad in a second. It should be fine now.
Yeah, it's all right. Once it caches the video.
Someone's just animation testing and stuff like that.
What the hell is this, Jeremy? Stop. Slow.
So this is a port of entry that I'll go in. If you see this port of entry here, I'm not sure if it's going to come out really good on the video because there's a big delay. There's a port of entry. You see there's like 9 lights.
Yeah.
Around it. If you're too close to one of them, they light up. So just navigation lights as you go in. And that light. Ship is a ship I use. I don't have it in this model here because it's updated. Ignore these characters. These are just little funny stuff I was messing around with. You're not picking up that audio music, are you? Yeah, I can turn it down off if it is. Are you picking up the music?
No, we're not getting the music. Yeah. No.
Okay, good. If I don't, it's gonna walk over. But this one's here. I don't want it. So this is a storage. So this is where the hangar that I would park my ship in, and obviously it take me hundreds of years to get here and back, right? But this is where I pour my ship in. That's like a civilian kind of model ship. That's a long story, but they're not very good ships, but they're popular among civilians. But this wasn't a civilian area. This was a VIP area, high security kind of stuff. So over here to the right, this first hangar, I'll park my ship about here where I am.
Bro, you're lagging like hell. Stop. Hang on, man. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were
So
lagging,
it's
lagging. It's like
there's something with my video on your software. It's not. It's like got a huge delay.
long story. Just oh god, can you like?
I can turn up. But
I don't know.
there's a whole like city here that I've recreated this place.
I don't
I'll
know.
just quickly just go for a walk.
There you
Just
go.
go for a
Just
walk
now.
around.
Again, there's people that say that believe in this, and then there's other people that are like, this dude is like way out there. Now, but I'm telling you, I've known Jeremy for a very long time, and the story has never changed. Okay.
No, and there's piles of evidence of it too.
Right. Jeremy, do me a favor, okay? Because this is lagging really bad. Why don't you do me a favor?
I'm seeing the play. It's 50, but it's still cool.
Would you share with everybody your not implant, but your chips? Because that I've spoken about it with you and everyone else here.
Let me find it. I've got not. This is just a photo. I've got a lot more than this, but I've got like a whole slice by slice animation of inside of my head, and this is just one section.
Give them the
tried to remove parts of my head to study them.
Yes, give them the X-ray. Give them the X-ray.
Let's go find it. It's a CT scan. I actually did other. Here we go. This is the one. This is probably the image you're talking about.
There, yeah.
But this was a CT scan. What happened was I received an injury to the head. I was attacked, and they just as a precaution they wanted to scan my head, and they found all these strange objects, solid metal objects inside my head and stuff, and so they did a more detailed scan with an MRI, which come out a lot clearer, and there's like microchips and stuff. And I spoke to the dude there, and you asked him about it, and he's like, yes, every now and then we get something like this, and that we're not supposed to talk about it. They wasn't even supposed to give me the DVD, the scans here, but they secretly gave me a copy of just some of the scans, not the better scans. This is a low resolution one, so here's some of them here, but there's a lot more than this. There's a whole bunch of sections. This is one of my basal ganglia. So if you look at the in the yellow boxes, you can see that there's an input and output to that chip there, and they're all like geometrical shapes and everything. And this is only a low resolution one, but it's enough to show what I'm talking about.
Right. All right. I wanted to share that with everybody since we spoke about it. You know what I'm saying? And that helps me to better facilitate what we're talking about here.
I'll show one more thing, and like people who are just imagining stuff or just making stuff up for attention, blah blah, they don't get the government attention that I do, the unwanted assassination attempts on camera and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. If you're able to see this here, these are just examples of transcripts of the recordings, and this literally up here it shows the YouTube IDs of the recordings, and Matt here, he can verify there's all these recordings. I've got piles of them. It's all real, and you can actually look all this stuff up. Just on this image here is enough to look it up. But you can watch all these piles and piles, 10 years of these footage, and look at these are all transcripts of what they say outside of my home. If I'm making this up, well, I'll be saying they're calling me, this is a real life Neo, saying somebody has to pay for this. Look, all these. He's only one on us. Comes from China.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of the video that you've released, and you've released it publicly to verify that the shit has happened to you. And
I have to
right.
I have to upload as a deterrent. I have to show them that I am recording and uploading everything every time.
Right.
So if I get into a life or death situation where 10 cops die, I got the recording to justify my self-defense.
Sure.
A recording them literally trying to raiding my home to assassinate me. The recordings is what keeps me up. That's what you said before. You said if the police come around, I'm putting my camera in their face. It's exactly what you should do. It's
Right.
the only thing you can do. Don't say, "Oh, I've got a bunch of weapons in my home." That's not going to help you. Physical
Mm-hmm.
weapon guns and stuff are only going to be. They're not going to help you. They're only going to be used against you, and they're going to be used as a justification for taking you out.
All right, go back
That's a
to your
weapon.
cam, bro. Go back to your.
Yeah, let me go. I'm going to spot to my camera.
You know, again, they think that a lot of people think that this is just woo woo, and that it's fake. But again, I
See
can't.
the recordings yourself.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I cannot not say that I've not been with you through a lot of this shit and seen it. You know what I mean? I've seen it firsthand. You know what I mean.
Yeah, at the end of the day, look, people say all kinds of stuff. If I say I'm a telegraph pole, okay, is your head going to explode? No, it's either it's true or it's false, and whether it is true or false, you need to determine: am I a reasonable person? That it doesn't matter whether I'm true or false. What matters is if I'm reasonable or not. If you're reasonable, anyone with true or false beliefs, they'll all come to the same conclusion very quickly. If you have right intentions and you have logical reasoning abilities and stuff, you'll get to the truth real easy. I'm not trying to convince anyone of anything. The evidence is all piles of it's there for anyone who wants to see for themselves. It's up to people who want to believe whatever they want to believe and own the consequences of that, for better or worse. That's everyone else's business. That's their personal business, not mine. Right. I have no right to intrude on that.
Your logical thinking, bro. The way your logical thinking is like. You are an amazing person to try to debate with, talk with. You're just a fun person to I love picking your brain. I love
a lot of people find me very frustrating to debate with because most people don't debate in bad faith and they try to pull all kinds of fallacies and they won't work on me.
But
not everyone, but the Discord people we were talking about, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I've been with you whenever
history there.
Chewed some faces up and spit it right back at them. Christopher Peebles asks, can Jay control the internet mentally? No, but he could definitely fuck some shit up. I'll tell you that.
Yes, because you see, there's a bit of a delay here. Like I'm seeing my camera, it's all live, but it comes up the video like 30 seconds later. So in a few seconds, you'll see my hands waving in the air. But with my mind, I can control my hands if you see them waving, right? And because my mind can control my hands, I can control my hands to type on the keyboard and through a keyboard, through the proxy of my hands, through the proxy of my keyboard, through the proxy of my computer and networks. I can do all kinds of funny stuff on the internet. So I can change the internet, control the internet to some significant capacity with my mind, just through a lot of proxies of physical things, but not through just thought alone. Thought alone is meaningless unless it's backed up by action.
I'm trying
thought
to.
The power of thought is in leading. It leads you to action. That's the power of thought. If you have thought without action, it's illegitimate.
I'm trying to understand Yvonne's question here. She says, "Do you know about the electrical part of our heart called the bundle of his ?" I don't have a damn clue.
I do know that people have a dozen electrodes, and my genetics I'm actually from a different human species, and I have some differences. It's not a fraud or anything like that, but there's actually two human species. That's the redheaded people, long story there. We went through those videos. That's why we're talking, because the videos I showed over this before, to Matt. But my species has an extra electrode which adds more electricity, information transfer between your heart and the brain and your brain, which allows us to consciously control our heartbeat, like quite significantly, and other bodily functions that are normally not consciously controlled for whatever reason that may be. I have a very different. My organs are shaped differently, and my body functions a bit differently. But it's not unnatural or anything. It's just the way my bloodline genome works.
Miss Barbara
we have an extra electrode. Are you talking about those electrodes? I think that's what you're talking about.
Maybe. Miss Barbara says, after everything that I've watched on Gaia about the secret space program and space programs and such, she says that she definitely believes you on that story. You can't, again, knowing...
What matters, can I say something? What matters, like people say all kinds of stuff. Just look if they got evidence. Look in the evidence. You see if someone's bluffing or they're not. And they say they got a bunch of cards in their hand. Just go look at the cards. That's it. Because a lot of people do bluff. Not everyone bluffs. Some people can be wrong, but they really believe what they're saying, and they just misconstrue the evidence. Other people, they have the evidence, but it's too ridiculous. It couldn't be true. What matters is you just look into. If there's evidence, you look into it. And I've got piles of it, and you can look into it, see for yourself. And I'm available to go through it with anyone as much as you want to. But it's all there. I'm the kind of person who actually has evidence to back up the ridiculous things that they say.
I can say you've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of documented stuff.
I've got hundreds of hours just documentaries of me, just alone. But yeah, I've got a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's up to people that want to look into that or not. Not just evidence. I've got a lot of important and even entertaining other stuff as well.
Let me scroll back through this chat a little bit, man. I've kind of been like,
everyone
really paying attention.
I very briefly went over my story. There's a lot to my story, but I came to this world 13,000 years ago. In other instances of this world, I got rescued by an extraterrestrial scout. There's some meddlers here a long time ago that messed with this world. A long story of what happened, and I ended up being given that ship. And I was going back and forth between this world and the mobile fortress, back and forth for about 6,000 years. And the most important event in this world is actually about 6,000 years ago, where history was erased, everything was reset, the whole Middle East and everything, and North Africa was all destroyed through an extraterrestrial military intervention. All those deserts weren't there back in those days. It wasn't like all forest. Some of it was forest, but it's all dead now because it was destroyed in a big war against the meddlers who were not supposed to be here. And as far as I can tell, it was supposed to solve it, and more stuff happened after that. I don't know what happened after that 6,000 years ago, but stuff still kept. It wasn't solved. Other stuff seemed to have happened.
Larry's throwing out there Project Millennials and the Project Moonshadow, the colonization of our galaxy from people here on the Earth. That's really good topic.
That's an interesting topic because
very good topics.
I've got a very unique perspective. I say that I have first-hand experience with extraterrestrials over this, and I don't know of anyone who shares my story on this. Everyone has a completely different, usually the same kind of area. My story is very different. What I say is that this world is under an evaluation period. If it not all this world, one genetic group in this world who's basically responsible for space travel, they're the ones who are under evaluation period. And if they pass, they'll be allowed progressive interaction with the big boys upstairs, right? But the rest of mankind won't until they earn that evaluation period in their own time under their own merits. But because of going out in space, be outside the biosphere and everything, whether you want to say the land on the moon or not, it's just that era of going out into space has initiated that evaluation period. But because there's a lot of meddling going on and stuff, there's a whole complicated situation. This world is under a quarantine, and the evaluation period, however long it takes, is if mankind fails, mankind will be sterilized, wiped off face of the earth, and someone else is going to take it. And there's obviously people who want to take it who would like to undermine mankind for that purpose. But this is a very dangerous time.
Are you able to read this? Why Australia, Jeremy? Why Australia?
Why did I choose Australia? Yeah, because I actually chose the location of the host. There's a lot of historical reasons for this. Too many to get into. I have to show a whole bunch of documentaries to understand that. But I'll just say the simple factors, not all the factors, just some of the simple factors, is Australia is like a continent that has like one of the lowest population per square kilometer in the world. It's surrounded by like insignificant like third world kind of countries. It's one of the global powerhouses geopolitically, and it has in a whole region with no neighbors that are really any kind of threat, right? For any kind of important things to happen, Australia's the place for it to happen. It's a massive continent that's almost completely empty, devoid of humans, and it's on the other side of the world, separated by massive oceans. It's really hard to get to. You get where I'm heading there?
I do.
There's all kinds of other reasons as well, but that's some of those reasons.
Let's go to the next one. Miss Airbrush Mish says, so Jeremy, you went right from the fifth dimension and beyond at birth?
I don't recall saying anything about dimensions.
All right. No, that's a question. She's like, so Jeremy, you went right straight through the fifth dimension and beyond?
I
right, bro?
don't subscribe to this ultimate dimension stuff. I think sometimes you could call time a fourth dimension, but it's not a physical dimension, right? There are only three physical dimensions as far as I know. I argue that through technology, you might be able to temporarily create, bend into artificial temporary interventions, physical dimensions, but people mean dimension in it can mean all dramatically different things. It's like with astrophysics theories of alternate like 12 dimensions and stuff. It's not the same. These are not talking about the same physiological dimensions like the three dimensions we have here. To mean completely different things. And so if you use the word dimension, like I don't subscribe to any. I don't use terminologies like dimensions like that outside of just the three dimensions, the X, Y, Z axes.
All right, back the damn train up because now I've got Larry saying that he has dreamt of the very ship in which you spoke about and shared. And he also wanted to bring up Operation Fishbowl, which we've talked about, the planetary bubble. Right, Larry would be a really good dude to talk to with you, although there is going to be a
It sounds like
delay.
it sounds like I should talk about the ship. You
Larry,
did want me to come in and talk about the ship too.
I do, of course, yes. I mean, I've been debating on having you be the Australian sidekick of the Matrix here. We need an AU broadcaster, but I don't know. I don't want you to disappear. I don't want you to disappear.
I had too much going on to be able to do broadcasting. I mean, I had to do that with Jay. I helped build his radio show up in the day.
We don't need. I don't need you to build it up. It's already built. I just need you to kind of just.
I can't do schedules. I've got a lot going on.
That would be the problem right there.
But you said that you dreamed about this ship. When we talked the other day, you did say that you want me to talk about that ship.
I did. Now Larry's like, I could probably rap with this dude, but he's wanting to talk to you offline.
Yeah, you want to talk me offline, especially just like somewhere like Discord. That's my preferred place to talk to you. I can go through all kinds of stuff. But he had dreams about that ship. I'd like to say a few things about that ship and see if it's in line with his dream or not. And
go right ahead, bro.
So it used an alien language. But you didn't need to understand the language. Some of the numbers, they had numbers and language just like we do, but I didn't understand the language. But I used it for a long time. I was very familiar with the ship, but I never understood the language. You could use voice commands. You could actually do basic scripts and commands, like you would get a waypoint and do like if then else kind of statements like computer programming. It was really basic. You didn't need to understand programming. The computer would, you could do it with voice activation and everything. There's all different ways you can control it. So the cockpit was a little bit like a Formula One seat. It was like a really long, almost like really, really far back, right? In a full body seat. It was very cramped. It wasn't very big. It was very cramped. It was hard to get in and out. You had to kind of crawl in and out and through the hole in the bottom center. But when you get in the cockpit, there's a semicircle panel in front of you with a main terminal screen in the middle. There's a couple of small ones. There's a lot of buttons and things that were probably not that relevant. Some of them were important, but most of them you didn't need to mess with. It could do a lot of things on automation, especially if you voice activate it. Up on the top left and right, there were these two mobile screens. Like if you have like a restraining arm holding two TVs left and right, it was like that. And you could actually swap them around and move them and stuff like that. But one of them monitored inside the ship, one of them monitored outside the ship. And the reason was as a not just because there's many useful purposes for it, but one of the important reasons for it was there's a certain kind of photonic warfare that people could use light as a weapon to disorient someone during a heated possibly battle situation, to confuse you and make you delay in your reactions and stuff like that, and tamper with your thinking a bit to confuse you and give themselves an edge over you, kind of like a subconscious overload. And it was done in such a way that it will bypass most computer systems unless it was monitoring the whole time, and it was able to detect it with specific technology that's rarely used. This weaponry wasn't very commonly done, but it was very rare. But there was a reason in this kind of ship why it needed to be used just in case. So the other purpose for it is you could actually build it up, right? You build it up and it'd appear natural, It'd happen over time, and then it might take 15 minutes or even a few hours, and then you'll just suddenly knock you out. And you see how that could be used as a weapon. I'm not talking about mind control, funny stuff like that. No. It's
Right.
really crude. It can't do anything much more beyond that. But it's really crude, but it can be really effective in the right situation, like a diplomatic situation or a battle situation and stuff. So that's why those two screens monitored inside and outside. So the main reason why they monitored inside and outside the ship. It technically had 2.5 modes of travel. Let's just say 3 modes of travel. It was aerodynamic because it was meant to be a hybrid craft, and so it could go on in planetary travel and in space. And it was a one-man kind of VIP ship that was like a jack of all trades kind of ship for everything. And it had wings in the back and the back top and back sides that would come out as like an air brake to help slow you down. But that when you're coming out into the atmosphere, and on top of that alone, there was just a little bit of assistance. But the main thing that will slow you down is actually 6 wind turbines. They come from three on the left, 3 on the right. They come out of the side of the ship in the front, middle, and back, and they're very powerful, really loud, and they will blow in the opposite direction, and that's what will give you a lot more control in a gravitational and aerodynamic environment. Out when you're outside an atmosphere, outside of like heavy gravity and stuff like that, different mode of travel, because obviously that wouldn't work in there, and the aerodynamics are useless out in space. In short distance space, right? Like inside a solar system and stuff, there were these little holes in the hull of the ship that would go into different directions all over the place on axes. And this is why I had like a multiple axes steering wheel kind of control thing. You could move the whole thing forward, backwards, left, right. You could steer it, and you could tilt it, and all those different axes. And that will correlate with these holes in the side of the ship. And what they would do is each hole was lined up with another one, and they would send some kind of signal that would collide into each other, and it would cause some kind of like a explosive force that would be like a constantly generated pulsing explosive force that would repel, that would bounce off your ship and push your ship in the opposite direction. Do you get what I mean?
Do you see the way he is like just saying this and not even skipping a beat? Okay.
Yeah, I was very familiar with the ship. I used it for a long time, and the funny thing is, I never knew the language beyond the ship. Yet I learned it very well without knowing the language.
You are the navigator. You are the navigator.
So the other mode of travel was obviously long distance travel, right? And this is the one people find interesting. So the part of the ship that wasn't really part of the ship, was out of the ship, was it like, let's just call it a stasis chamber of some kind. It was.
Oh like, boy, here we go.
Yellowy, goldy, orange color, and it was put in there. Obviously, it wasn't natively part of the ship. I don't know how they got it in there because it's so cramped, but somehow they got it in there, and they probably reassemble it in there or something. But it's like a coffin basically at the front. There was no place to put it because there's not much room in there, so they put it in the front underneath the view screen, in the front on the floor. And you go in, this is how you survive long distance journeys. Typically, you can try to survive it over hundreds of years and many generations. That's usually not a good idea. You need resources of that. So you basically be like somewhat kind of not quite frozen, but like frozen in a strange kind of way with this gel substance. You go into you press the buttons, you go to activate it. You lie down in the coffin, and it'd fill up with this liquid and put you unconscious, and then you'd wake up, thawed out again. Now, obviously, as we know, you can't just freeze someone with water and then unfreeze them, because the crystals break and it breaks all the cell structures and everything, and it, you can't survive. That must have something to do with this being gel. It wasn't water. It was like this, like kind of strange. It felt like it. It felt strange. I never felt anything like it. I don't know what it was made of, but it was like this almost liquid gel kind of substances that wasn't sticky.
I got it. I got it.
It wasn't like glue.
The shit you're describing is the stuff from the movie The Abyss, I do believe.
Oh, that's the stuff they use. They put that in his lungs to breathe, didn't they?
Yeah. I mean, would it not be the same stuff?
Maybe similar kind of texture. The way it felt. I can't explain how it felt. It felt strange. I never felt it. It's just has some kind of reaction to when it touches your body. Strange. Imagine if you have like water, right? And you put
Ionized
your hand in the water and then you pull it out and it's not wet.
Hang on. Larry says ionized plasma, fields and electromagnetic. Oh, he's talking quantum physics.
Maybe you understand what this stuff is. That it felt really strange. But nonetheless, it'd fill up and then you get frozen in it, right?
Right.
And even though it wasn't like what water, you could actually be thawed and survive.
Airbrush
If you did a few, there's a let's just call it a syndrome that happens. If you're a messenger like I was, you typically get affected by this syndrome more and more time goes on. If you're just normal kind of person who travels a few times here and there, you're fine. But if you travel back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, being unfrozen so many times, there's a progressive thing that happens, and you get sick. Your immune system breaks down, your bodily functions start going all funny. And it didn't affect my mind, but it can affect one's mind as well. And the body falls apart. And it's not just that; is the atoms can break down over time, even in a frozen state. Atoms decay. That's a factor as well. All these things combine to create this kind of syndrome, and it's mostly the thawing process being unthawed over and over. It only affects messages, and apparently some species are affected by it more than others. Obviously, I was badly affected by it.
Jeremy, let's talk about this for a second, because Airbrush Michelle says the firmament. She mentioned the firmament. What the hell is the firmament that you know? Since you
sounds like flat Earth or something. Or
the Bible. The firmament.
I say that I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand, and it is spherish. Looks like a ball, and I'll tell you what. When you go at the speed,
I'm sick of being cold too, sweetheart.
The gravity change can actually make you vomit and nauseous and sick. It can be quite traumatizing when you go out of especially the first time. When you go outside of your planet that you've lived in, and you go outside its biosphere, it feels unnatural because you're out, like the electromagnetics of the planet that you used to. You don't even know they're gone, and it's you have like a lonely sensation, and everything's unnatural. It you can get into a panic. It can send you into some kind of shock even. And the gravity adjustment can really get you though. The changes in gravity it really can really mess with you. It did with me at first. It takes some getting used to.
Now you had a choice, Jared. You know what? I'm going to speed your story up a little bit. You had a choice. It was yourself, another guy, and a female, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, you're talking about the three choices?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So I was given 3 choices of location. For some reason, it was very important that I make the choice under my own free will, and that was narrowed down until it became 3. And I don't know exactly all the reasons why it was narrowed down to these 3, but they narrowed it down to 1 in the British Isles, 1 in Japan, and 1 on the southeastern New South Wales, Australia. Those 3 locations were the 3 options I was given, and I chose the one in Australia for geopolitical reasons, and because I was sent on a mission for a purpose, and various reasons, and for some reasons there's a lot of things they wouldn't tell me, but for some reason it was very important that I had to make the choice under my own free will in the blind, and they agreed that that was the obvious choice, but and they totally support the choice I made, but I had the choice of 3 host bodies to be grafted into. Should I continue just saying a few things about the ship with their long distance travel?
Sure, absolutely.
I was talking about how it freezes you. You go into the coffin kind of thing,
like
and it fills up with gel, and it freezes you, and then you wake up on the other side, decades or hundreds of years later.
Hyperstasis sounds like to me. Hyperstasis, some kind of stasis.
You're basically some kind of frozen state.
All right. I was always wondering.
So there's a syndrome that happens after many times thawing out. So when you go into that you obviously press a button on the ship to send it into into this mode, and it does it all by itself. A few times I stayed around just to observe what it was like, and it was interesting to see. So the third mode of travel, what it is, in the bottom center, all in the front, on the bottom center, there's one of these prongs that come out, and then there's two on the top, like in a triangle shape, right? And there's some, I think there's some kind of extremely dangerous radioactivity, like really potent radioactivity that totally destroys, puts into a cloud of puff of smoke, like atoms. It just completely obliterates them and everything, everything that atoms are made of, anything that's caught in the path of these things, right? So there's a prong, and there's a few, like, looks like a couple of capacitors along the prong, like really thick metal, and there's a metal ball on the end, right? And they got there's because they're so dangerous. You don't want them damaged by some kind of battle situation, which is that's not usually a thing, but just in case, every now and then things can happen. But this was so dangerous that they had armor over the top of them. So in order when you switch on, the armor would have to come out, and then the prong with the ball on the end would come out only to maybe 20, 30, 40 degrees. It wouldn't come out very far, but they would align themselves to a point about maybe half of the length of the ship in front of it, just a little bit in front of it, and they would align themselves to an exact point, and they would generate this dangerous signal that would of some kind that could tear apart any atoms of anything that walked in its path. But something seems to happen when they all collide, they all triangulate into this point. It creates it builds up over maybe 15 minutes or so. It builds up some kind of gravitational force. It's only a short duration.
I can tell you right now what it does. It pulls the ship.
I told you, yeah. It pulls the ship. You're constantly falling forward. It's being constantly generated in front of your ship, and you're constantly falling into it. So you build up speed over decades, right? And then you can turn it around. It can pull you. It can slow you down and go the other way, and then return into the journey. So it speeds up and slows down by using this falling effect. And the gravitational effect, I did some math, and it looks like if you were to do like the gravity of Earth, it would take about, if you just say there's no drag effect on building up to the speed of light, because there was a drag effect, you could never go, so you only go so far. There's more and more. It gets the acceleration slows down more and more as fast you get, especially as you get really fast. It slows down, so you can travel falling forever, but you'll never really reach a max speed. There's less gains as you get faster. So anyway, what happens is these three prongs go into this place with it in this center alignment in front of your ship that generates this gravity, and this gravity was not like, if you go too far away from it, it disappears. The gravitational effect it's not normal gravity. It's like some kind of artificial gravity or something. And if you turn the thing off, it quickly dissipates, right? It's like some kind of artificial black hole or something. But you turn the generators off, it disappears.
But you can obviously Jeremy, you can obviously feel this, the energy pulsing.
Yeah, you can feel the gravity
so
in front of you. Yeah, it's not that heavy, but you can feel it. And it kind of pulls you. It pulls you, like it makes it hard to move.
Resistance. Okay, gotcha. All right.
Now, there is artificial gravity. This ship didn't have artificial gravity, but there was artificial gravity in other ships in different places that did have light artificial, not heavy, but light artificial gravity. But this ship didn't have anything like that.
I have heard from others. I have literally heard from others along the lines of the same story in a ship that the gravity didn't technically come from the ship itself, but more so it almost, from, if I remember right, it was almost as if there was a force around the ship that created a false sense of gravity in the ship. Now, again, this is
like similar to what I'm saying here. A different.
This is from a contactee. Okay, a contactee has told me the ship that she's been on, the gravity of the ship, there was no gravity of the ship. There was it was almost as if the ship itself was in a bubble per se.
It
Okay.
sounds like that doesn't sound like gravity. It sounds like magnetic.
And
Magnetism
whatever
or
it
something.
was,
You're
it's
wearing
just
metal
it
toes or something that helps
was
it.
its own. It was in its own environment. It was in its own.
Yeah, that's what my
I
understanding of
don't.
circular kind of ships. There's a
Very
completely
hard
different
to.
technology based on them, and that seems to be they seem to envelop themselves in like a bubble. Yeah, from what I can tell.
Larry says tractor beams and an ion thrust is actually a thing. Sure, you'd know, military guy. I mean, I believe that Tesla created the damn death ray, and our Navy has got our hands on it. No doubt about it.
I'll just finish up talking about the artificial gravity thing. So
Okay.
you understand what I'm saying? If you go further away from this gravity, artificial gravity thing, it would just dissipate. It was only a short range gravitational effect. So if you go, so it's not like it's going to affect planets and stuff like it. It may affect a couple of meteorites and knock them around a bit and stuff, and might cause a couple of impacts on the planet. That's the most will do. It won't affect the planetary objects; they're too far away, right? So it's only like a short wave gravitational effect. It wasn't like normal gravity. It's some kind of like substitute for gravity or something. But nonetheless, what would happen if you go through a lot of dirty space over time, especially if you're woken up after like decades of travel or something, you've been through a lot of dirty space. There's a lot of matter that gets stuck in the gravity well. So this is what I explain the second function. If you're being pulled forward, right, and you're going so fast, that doesn't work because you're going to collide with something. It's going to go straight through. Micrometeor is going to go straight through a ship. So that's why this technology, how it worked, it solved two birds in one stone. As it triangulates into that point, it creates a gravity well, but then the beams keep going outwards, right? And then as they go outwards, maybe another like 50% of the ship or so, they like untune or something, and it goes into a repulsing force, right? Before it dissipates completely. So there's like a kind of like a shield in front of the ship. The things that are generating the gravity well, they tune to a specific point where they go inward into a gravity well, and then they tune. Then the wave gets bigger and bigger into a repulsing force as it weakens as it goes out towards its edge. So the same thing causes a repulsing force at the front of the ship. Now, if at short speeds, things would bounce off, yeah, but you're going so fast, things don't bounce off. That's not designed to do that. So what happens is you're going so fast, all it does is it slows things down, and then it slows them down so much that they get caught in the gravity well, right? And just micrometeorites and little bits of dust or whatever, right? But over a long time, and you've gone through dirty space, there's a cool effect that happens if you wake up unfrozen in the pod, and you have a look at this, which I did a few times. It's this blue glowing wispy kind of effect. It's like a distorted kind of wispy. You can kind of like see ghost images of like orbits and stuff out in it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
This weird cloudy wispy. It was blue. It was always blue, bluish gray, mostly blue. And if you could, it didn't do anything to the ship. It just means you couldn't see forward. There's no reason to see when you're doing that anyway. But if you turn the artificial gravity well off, it'll just quickly dissipate within 2 minutes, and then you can turn it on. You can basically purge it that way, right? Not that you need to. It doesn't matter how dirty it was. It wouldn't really actually functionally do anything. But that's the effect that would happen. All the dust would pick up, and as soon as you turn the gravity well off, it just disappears.
That's interesting shit, Jay. Do you know that?
That's all I can say about it. I know. So it had a cargo bay. So on the bottom center of the ship is a little porthole. That's how you get in and out. There was another one on the top of the ship. If you see the button I say like there's a thing on the top, that thing could actually open up. You're not supposed to open up, but it did. It's got some really solid thing on there. I don't know. It did some kind of purpose I didn't know. But it was really heavy. But it had like thing you had to kind of turn it, and it had several locks on it and everything. It was really sturdy. But the one underneath is the one where you're supposed to go in and out, and it's really cramped. It's really hard to get in and out. But behind that, the entry port in the bottom center, is another one, and it's on a little bit of an angle, and it goes into a cargo hold, and it's not too big, but it's big enough to hold some things, and that itself apparently fills up with gel too, for the journey. The same thing that would freeze you, it would freeze your cargo.
Damn.
and it had these like Space Shuttle have got those wafers, those heat, what are they called, those heat wafer kind of things. They're like these kind of like rectangular rounded, look like radioactive panels or something, you know what I mean?
You got
It's
me,
like that.
bro. Like, yeah,
It, it,
like
what do
I
you
know
call
what
them?
the hell you're talking about.
Space
Yeah.
Shuttle
A
what are they
deflector?
called? Panels, deflector panels or something. They deflect heat or something. Whatever the whole inside surface, it was covered in panels that looked a lot like. I don't think they would be the same kind of thing, but the panels looked a lot like that kind of design.
Mish says
And
this
then
sounds like in the movie Interstellar, and you know what? She's not shitting.
I mean, no, the story's nothing like that.
I'm talking. She's talking about the ship. That's the being on the ship. Yes, I agree with her. I agree.
The front. I'll just say something. The front side of the ship, the front half of the ship, is obviously where the cockpit and everything is, where you go. But the back half of the ship, outside of the cargo held below, the rest of that is like the bulk of the ship. You can't go in there. It's all like all the chunky stuff of the machinery and all that kind of thing.
Can we talk?
Back of the ship.
Can we talk for a second about the AI, or about the computer system on the ship? Was there any of that? Because I don't remember you
there was a
talking
computer
about.
system on the ship. Yeah, of course. That's what I'm saying. You can voice activate it and stuff. I didn't need to understand the language of it because I could talk to it.
All right, so it was AI, right?
It wasn't like talking to a person. It was meant to be really basic and simple and easy to use.
Okay. Damn it.
It had to be given my language to be able to communicate in my language, and then it did just fine. So I could tell it what I wanted, and it would do it if I needed. But I rarely did that. I usually did manual control of things. You had an autopilot that was very easy to turn on.
You like me. You want to be in control of your shit. You want to be in control.
It's actually very highly programmable,
right?
Because like the axes, like if you have like the steering left and right, and then you have like a steering wheel, but then you can take the whole steering wheel and move the whole thing left and right because there's different axes that do different things. You could swap them around if you want, and I did that once because I didn't like the way that like the steering by default would roll the ship, and I didn't like that. I wanted to make bank left and right, and I found out later after using it just didn't work very well. So I went back to the original setup. But you can do all that, and you can all the two panels, the monitoring inside and out, so the ship, you can move them around and stuff because they're on restraining arms.
Jay, here you talked about watching. You said the old man, right? Let's because this really blows my mind. With you guys watched the formation. I'm talking from ship. Watched the formation of many universes. Correct?
Me and my siblings.
Yes.
No. We were in the garden the whole time while the old man was working on that machine. All we knew was in our later grown up, when we grew up, probably equivalent to late teens.
All right.
We would I only went out there once, but I didn't like what they were doing out there. The void would respond to. We could focus our thoughts, and the void would respond to our focused thoughts, and it would manifest forms out of temporary manifested forms out of it. It's like you could actually create two fighting characters and watch them fight. Right? They're just responding. Like the stuff of the void would respond to the order of our mind, and we were formless out there. Like we found out we were formless by nature, and the bodies we had in the garden. This is going to be speed, but sound a bit strange. Our bodies were and our existence was maintained by the garden, and the garden had pylons in the walls, a few pylons here and there, and those pylons were actually computer systems that generated the 3D environment.
Now,
and
what is
like God Almighty is a computer programmer? If that's a very different version of God Almighty, but nonetheless, this is a disturbing part. If the old man I know, he wasn't all powerful and all knowing, and he didn't want to reveal a lot of things. He seemed to have his heart in the right place, but it was very important that we don't know certain things. We have to find out on our own. But with those pylons in the walls. My siblings, when they were younger, they damaged some of them. They vandalized the place in a complaint to try to make him turn up more, because it was very boring. We just had each other for company, nothing much to do. So they made a mess and broke some of the pylons in the process, and the old man got very upset. And you think if he was so all powerful, he'd be able to fix them. A whole section of the garden was forever gone. He couldn't fix it. Maybe just the way that it's something that you can't work on while it's active and live. I don't know. Or maybe he just didn't have the know how to fix it. He may not have made it in the first place. Someone else might have. I don't know. But they damaged the pylons, and it was only barely held together at this point. It was broken, but one of the pylons that was damaged but not completely broken, if that one completely broke, the whole garden would have been broken. But the ones in the back were broken. The whole back section wouldn't. It was gone. We never got it back.
Jeremy, let me ask you this, because Larry just dropped in the chat what we know of in quantum physics, right? And he just dropped the void is the X point, okay, electromagnetic anomaly spectrums of which knows as the ghost particles of souls, or he says. Now I see this, and we've talked a lot about he and I talked about the void. Okay, we talk a lot about the ghost particles, X point singularity. What you're describing in the void. Now, again, to share with everybody, I've seen what Jeremy has created. Okay, he is literally what he's describing to you. He has put into video, like a gaming format or a movie. You can literally walk around.
Yeah, you can literally walk around like in VR and just walk around and grab.
Yes, I've seen this. And it. He shared with me this years ago. So again, going back and hearing him say this, it triggered in my mind. And then what Larry just said, right? The X point, like singularity point within the dark side of nothing. I mean, Christopher.
Can I just say something there?
Yeah.
The void, right? The void. It's like a place that's torn between existing and not existing, right? It's like a chaotic place of conflict and incoherence. It's like in a state between existing and not existing. A lot of potentials and possibilities that never made it exist in this place. It's like, it's not just an idea. It's a semi-physical place. And it's still there as far as I know, and it transcends time itself. And the old man created that machine to try and harvest stuff of value that's in it.
But who's the old man, Jeremy? I've wondered this.
The closest equivalent, but quite different to what people would traditionally call a god. But get this. There, in that void, there are things that have always been in there, and then there are things that have fallen in there over time. And I think that his idea of animating this stuff is, I got an idea that, there's reasons why I got this idea too, that things happened before my birth in that garden, and a lot of things had fallen into that void of value, and he was trying to bring them back out. It's like if you disassemble yourself into the most rudimentary Lego pieces and you throw it into the mud, and you have to, it's like gold panning. You have to try and get the gold, separate the gold from the mud. Mm-hmm. I think that's the whole point of this, of animating part of the void, is to try to put back together things that had fallen into it. It's a long story behind that, but that's what I think. That's what I think he's trying to do. But I think there's things in there that have value that may have always been there, and because there's no universal rules of agreement of interaction, it's all breakdown communication. It's like a bunch of people playing tug of war, all pulling in different sides, and it goes nowhere. Things that exist are in agreement, in a network of agreement, and they go somewhere, like a magnet, aligned and synchronized and stuff. But in the void, there's no agreement. There's very temporary agreements that it's only semi-coherent. Everything's just broken down. There's nothing gets anywhere. Nothing can manifest in anything.
Is this kind of like a whirlpool vortex of chaos with no law?
Chaos, yes, but no, I wouldn't call it a whirlpool and a vortex. It was like it. As this is my best way of explaining it. It was like acid. It burned away things that exist, go in there unprotected, and we did this at first, and you could feel it. It felt like being electrocuted and burned away by acid at the same time. Right? It melts you away. It absorbs you and disassembles you. It breaks you down into your basic Lego piece components, and they just get trapped and imprisoned in it like anything else. It's like a sinkhole, like falling down a sink, but not like a whirlpool or vortex, not like that. But it's like the sludge that's at the bottom of a sinkhole is a void, and it's huge, right? So it's like acid, and that burns away and melts you, things that exist, and it's also like a turbulent ocean of incoherence, and it's also another way to say it. It's like TV static. All these things at the same time, put them all together, and that's the best way I can describe it. Because I went out there myself with my two brothers, the twins. They took me out to see it because I didn't like what they were doing. I knew that there was something alive in it, and I didn't want them violating its free will like that. So I didn't want to go. So, but I went out there once, and they took me out there, and it's in my story. We went through this. I narrated and went through in visuals and Unreal Engine with voices and stuff.
I sound like I'm with Mish. Vortex. This almost sounds like a vortex.
Nah, see, a vortex is like an agreement. Things are all going in the same direction or something. That goes against everything that the void is. There's no agreement. It's all chaos. There's no spiraling or anything. It's just a mess. But there was places of heavy gravitation of some sort. A lot of very loud places that were very heavy. There's some kind of mass in there, and sometimes they'd pull into giant balls, but you couldn't see them, but you could sense them, and you could kind of hear them. The noise that comes from them. Damn. Almost like formless planets, even. Like balls of mass were in there. There was one nearby outside of where we're going out from the garden. There was one not too far away from that. My siblings took me near it.
So this is a chaos mess of a form without form.
No, there's no form. That's the problem. Nothing can agree on.
I say okay, matter. This is a chaos mess of a form without form, right?
Yeah, for something to have form, there has to be some kind of mutually agreed rules, or some kind of system. And
so how was this
broken down?
Then how was this contained, Jeremy? But it had to have had a substance of some sort to be contained.
There's no universal substance. It's a mess of all kinds of incompatible things coexisting. Like, did you understand that?
And this was in the middle.
A lot of these components are not even localized. They don't even have a localized thing. Like, for example, the number 3 exists in the void, with and without context. Ideas, possibilities that aren't even physical exist in this, overlapping in the same place and conflicting with other things, right? It's a giant mess of it's not just physical, it's semi-physical in places.
Shit.
All occupying the same place, interfering, overriding, overlapping in a giant mess. And think that because of that, things of value are basically imprisoned there, because there's things that counteract them. Like, if you've got tug of war going in one direction, there's you're occupying the same space as something that's going in another direction, it cancels each other out, and nothing happens, and you're basically imprisoned.
Now you realize that science has definition to what you're speaking of.
And this is what I wanted to say before, and it's very important to say this. All the terms I use, I'm not using any. I do a lot of math and programming, all kinds of stuff, but I do it from my own. I taught myself. I do things my own way, and I use a lot of terminologies. And there's a lot of thought I put into these terminologies. They actually mean something very important. They're worded the way I word them. The terminologies I use them in a very precise way, and they mean something for a very functional purpose. They're not some silly words I just decided to choose. A lot of that with like the scientific, so-called scientific communities and stuff, they use badly worded terminologies that I don't agree with, because it causes a lot of confusion and a lot of other mess and incompatibilities. So I use almost all the terms I use are my own personal terms. that I use just for myself. So I often have to explain what I mean by certain things.
I understand what
But
you're saying.
sometimes
We
I
get it.
can come to a similar kind of word, because if you're trying to explain the same thing, it can quite often happen that you use a similar or identical word, but not always.
You know, everything supposedly within our universe and our what we know it has got a mathematical equation foundation. So you know what I'm saying? So the void, this chaotic mess, this lovable masterpiece has got a mathematical equation to it. It would have to.
That's just it.
It would
There's
have
all
to
kinds
have.
of mathematical equations all occupying the same space, conflicting with each other. It's like
Then
you got a bunch of people in a room screaming over the top of each other. That's what it's
oh,
like.
a bunch of kids fighting over one donut.
Can I just say something? I just saw a question before you changed the mode there.
Yeah, right?
A very important question. Someone, Lee, something said something about the speed of light. If you travel faster than light or something, can I just see that? If
Lee Grantham says
if you travel faster than light, you can bend time. Not that I've seen, but I'm totally neutral to that. Who knows? But because I'm not naturally of this universe, neither you guys, but you came in. You guys are put in a different way than I am.
I'm in the void.
Before I was imprisoned in this form or my previous forms, when I was grafted from one to the other. Before all that, when I was in a formless state, just moving around the universe, I'm not bound by most of the rules of this universe. Some of them I kind of am, but others I was completely, because I was like basically a physical arm and a hologram passing through each other. So there's some interaction that happens, but most of those laws in one don't affect the other, and you can just put your arm straight through it, right? In the same way, I was able to go faster than light, and I don't. Maybe someone can explain this, because I could see all the stars around in the galaxy, right? And I could move to the point where I was definitely moving faster than the speed of light. I could still see the stars, and they start moving. But as they start moving a little bit, they start moving really slowly, and as they start moving a little bit faster, it just starts going. It just fades fairly quickly to black, and you're going, and it's black. It's not white, green. It's black. But you can see the stars moving before it gets black, and that speed, whatever's causing that to happen, that makes it go black. That's, if I'm seeing it enough that I'm seeing the stars move, that's got to be way faster than the speed of light. I don't have answers to this, but it's maybe someone else can think about this.
We'll talk about this another time.
But for someone who can go faster than the speed of light, that's what it looks like to me. You can see the stars start moving.
Oh,
they're
God.
moving as we accelerate, and just and as they start moving, not even to a moderate speed, they just move a little bit. You're starting to notice, and then they just like, they don't just like blink out. It's like it's a fade. They quickly fade out to black. And then if you slow down, you can't. You're traveling in the blind like really really fast, right? Maybe 1,000 times the speed of light. But then you slow down. You decelerate again to the point where it they fade back in, and then the same thing. They're moving and slow down to a stop, right? And there's a certain speed way beyond the speed of light where things go black. Before that, I could still see the stars.
Oh my God! All right, Jeremy, we're
at 2 hours. That's what it looked like,
bro. We're catching up on this 2 hour mark. All right, here's the kicker. What I posted this past week that I wanted to share was, again, your heart coming unhinged on the powers that be, and for
unloaded, not unhinged.
That's
unhinged
it.
You used the wrong words.
Damn it! We went gloves off on the powers that be, and the way they are doing humanity, the way they are treating people, treating you. I'm going to share that. I want to share that with them.
Yeah, can I say something about that, Matt?
Please.
So, me and Matt, when we not talking, we just talk all night. And like a radio show, we can just touch the surfaces of stuff that I can do the like 24-hour sessions of this stuff. Anyone wants to go in more details later, I'm free to do so. I'll do this all the time. So the thing is, when me and Matt talk, we don't talk for 5 minutes. We end up talking all nighter.
It's hours. It is hours and days.
The next day and everything, and it messes him up all week. But that's what I'm like. I'll talk for hours and hours. I've got a lot of like content and stuff to show and say. So this, we can only just touch the surface here, and there's also a lot of things we can't say here regarding why the world is the way it is. There's a history, a forgotten history. There's a reason why everything's going on, and I've got answers. I've got evidence, and as Matt says, it blew. I've got a bunch of videos of mine. Some of them are like a couple of years old. Some of them is a recent one. The red hair one, and he wanted to stream. He was going to stream at least once, probably several of those videos.
I
And
want
meant
to.
to ask him, Matt, are you able to tonight, today, or tomorrow? I want people to see those videos, especially that red hair one, and that Fifth Thought one was good. And there's like three of them, I think, that really. Yeah, and there was that one with the car. Yeah, that was a really good one because you have really trouble with a lot of questions. I thought this video will best answer than me saying.
Right.
I hope you can get those videos. You feel free to rip them and stream them, whatever you want to do. But I want people to see the information in those videos, and I can show you firsthand. I can stream it right after this show if you want on Discord or something. But I want whoever's listening to see this stuff. I've got a lot of valuable stuff I don't want wasted.
Me too.
I want it to be passed on.
I think, again, you being here, it's a good damn fit, Jeremy. You help me, and you help me get to the point of understanding things that even I question even now. The Food for Thought video was a great and is a great video for helping those that are literally stuck with not knowing what the hell to believe in or where to even begin to start.
Yeah, because people, okay, this option, okay, that's wrong. Okay, what are my options? There's this, and this, right? These are all the main options.
It's all bullshit.
And I just take the piss out of, I just expose and take the piss out of in a very humanist way. I take the piss out of everyone, every side, and I expose them all as wrong. All those options, don't choose any of those. Look, this is why that option's complete crap. This one's complete crap. This is why. And I do it in an entertaining way. I take the piss out of everyone. But I sound drunk. I just want to say one in advance. I sound drunk in that video. It's me just going on a bit of a rant for 2 hours. Very entertaining one. But with a devil art avatar and stuff, you'll understand when I see it. But I wasn't drunk. I was very sick, and that's why I'm having peppermint, Matt, because of my belly and everything. I've been severely injured by the government. I've been clinging to life, vomiting blood and on the run and everything, bleeding out in the bush and everything. And I was very sick. I was drunk from pain. I was a bit like all wonky and everything from pain and like blood poisoning from belly acid going into my blood from ulcers and stuff. That's why I sounded drunk. But I'm the kind of person who thrives when I'm under pressure. I don't just thrive. I do a lot of really good humor. I need to be suffering in order to do the best humor for some reason. And that's the kind of video I do. I just sit there and I sound drunk, but it's just pain.
All right, bro. I will share your stuff. I will. These guys, I know they like you. It's a really good fit, man.
I don't care whether they like me or not. I would like people to see those 3 videos I showed you that really affected you.
Okay, they did.
I want you if you can get those up on stream, and if anyone wants, I can stream it on Discord as soon as the show ends if you want.
Okay.
I've got so much cool stuff to show, really important stuff that will change your whole view of the world.
Mr. Jeremy,
a lot of questions that have been tormenting you for years.
Look, nobody comes here without saying something positive to everybody around the globe. That way, I'll pull the audio out of here, and we'll say something. Yeah, so you say something positive to everybody around the globe, and I'll cut you loose, and I'll go eat because I haven't eaten. I cooked them pork chops, and I haven't eaten.
That's constructive. Okay, here's something. Positive, negative, and neutral are neither contextually good or bad. And what he's saying by positive, I think it means something that's good, something that's constructive, positive in that regard. But it's important to know that positive can be a good or a bad thing, because you don't want to be HIV positive, do you? You don't want to be life negative or death positive. Context matters. And when it comes to positivity in like a constructive kind of way, I was showing Matt some really cool stuff with artwork and programming, the kind of stuff he's really been busy doing, that kind of stuff. If anyone wants to do like stuff like Unreal Engine, Flash, graphics and stuff like that, I do a lot of cool stuff. And it pains me that so many people, they're interested, but they're just they're too lazy. you don't want to learn. I can give people the tools, legit tools that are all free. Things that like companies have gone out of business with superior tools from like a decade ago and stuff to do real cool stuff. And if Matt's able to show the Commander Shepard video, no, probably not. Just to show this kind of stuff. Matt, do you have that GIF I gave? You able to put that GIF up? This is just some of the cool stuff. I rotoscope and stuff like that. I do all kinds of funny stuff. If anyone wants to learn how to do this stuff, this is my passion. I want to show people.
I don't have it in this machine.
See if they can work out stuff I haven't thought of and what they can do with it. I can show them how they can do it.
I don't believe. I don't believe I do. I'd have to see.
I can send it to you.
Dude, I bet 2 hours. You could be the one to edit this thing. Here, hold on. Let me find.
I probably could if you give me a remote desktop. Maybe they say.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. I trust you, but you ain't getting that.
What
one.
I can do, I can.
Let me look. Share.
I gotta find where it is.
There, Jeremy Orton. Do I got the GIF? No. I don't have the GIF that you'd give me.
Where's the one?
I don't have it because I just didn't copy it over.
Hang on, I'm just gonna go to Facebook real quick.
I can share it from there. You talk about the.
There's our messages. Let's just scroll up and see if I can find.
Where are we at? Yeah, I don't have it, bro. Show. So anyway, Airbrush Mish says, "Thank you, Jeremy. You should have Jeremy and Larry together sometime." I tried, Tina. I tried to get Larry to call and interact with Jeremy.
Yeah, we can do after the show, wherever.
We can do this another time. I don't think he's safe now. At least.
Yeah, I'm safe now. My situation is there's a lot that's going on. I had to live in the bush, radioactive bushland, trying to assassinated by police to prevent me from turning up to court, and burying my hard drives and all kind of stuff. I won all the court cases, and I've not heard a peep from them. They're raiding my home hundreds of times before that. I've still got torn up walls and everything to cover up and everything, but they've left me alone since the last court case. It got totally destroyed. Outside of my belly, my health problems, my belly and stuff, that's all I got to worry about. Like they just totally have not hit a peep from them.
Now we just
they
need
got totally exposed and destroyed, and after 10 years,
Larry to be safe.
I'm safe for the first. That's why I'm buying my music gear. I'm actually moving in for the first time in this place after many years. I'm actually safe in that regard.
Bro, I'm out. I am definitely out. Jeremy, thank you for being with me, buddy. You hear me? And we'll hook you up. Anybody that is interested in talking with Jeremy, just hit me up. If not, I will try. I will throw him into a. I'll throw him into a Matrix chat. I'll throw him in there.
Okay, Discord or something.
Capiche? Yeah, Jeremy's on the Discord server. Buddy, good night to you. Thank you for joining me, Jeremy.
Oh, hang on. Let me put another mask on first.
What are you doing? Look, he's just a grown-up kid like I am. It's like we get older, but we just don't really.
I literally built an armored suit. It kept me alive.
Check this shit out. Oh my God! All right, homie, I'm the hell out of here. I'm gonna cut you loose, bro. Take care of yourself, all right? All right, buddy. Good night. All right, later, broski. Let me get the hell out of here. To do that, remove that, and yeah, man. All right. Chia. Brainiacs. Man. All kinds of things we talked about tonight, man. I enjoy talking to Jeremy. Like he said, we talk all night long. I get to talking with him on a topic, and man, it's like, holy shit. I just don't know when to stop. I don't know what to. We talk about everything. It's kind of like me and Larry. We'll get on a topic or get on a kick, and there's very few people I can talk quantum physics, quantum reality, and them things with that will actually listen to me. or actually help understand me, or even help me understand me. Larry, I thank him for that. With that being said, man, I hope nothing bad happens to Larry. One of these days, Larry's going to say, I'm completely fine. They're scared shirtless of me in court. They've dismissed everything and paid him his direct deposit so he can, at that point, help fund the broadcast. If not, just buy the son of a bitch. Ain't nothing really to buy, right? Anyway, Brainiacs, I appreciate you guys. So, you guys take care of yourself. This one's in trouble. Talk to you guys later. Take care of yourselves. Have a good week. Wednesday night, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Guys, take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Peace out, everybody. Crank that shit up, Brainiac. Yeah. Let's do this. One of the fastest growing talk shows on the internet. Radio show. Welcome aboard the Matrix Minds. One of the most controversial conspiratorial shows on the web. The Matrix Minds. And that's right. Buckle up, everybody. Let's go. Paranormal, huh? Conspiracy, huh? Ufology, hidden Egyptology, and anything and everything we can get our hands on. Let's go. Welcome aboard. The Matrix Minds. The Matrix Minds. Show.
You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. All I'm offering is the truth. Stay in Wonderland. All I'm offering is the truth. Stay in Wonderland. All I'm offering is the truth.
Hey everybody, Austin here with Colorado Custom Game Calls. Are you looking for a game call for your upcoming season? Are you looking for something unique? Are you looking for a gift for the hunter in your life? Well, look no further. We got you covered. At Colorado Custom Game Calls, you get to put your own twist on these calls. Whether it's waterfowl hunting, big game hunting, predator, or turkey, we got you covered. So be sure to hit us up on our Facebook and Instagram or on the web at ColoradoCustomGameCalls.com.
What is up, all my beautiful and gorgeous souls? I am Michelle Espinosa, otherwise known as the Shaman, through the Matrix Mind Media. So tell me, how many times have you wished that you had that special power of prediction? You know, to know what was going to happen before it actually happened and took place. To have some power and control over that situation before things came flying at you out of left field. The thing is, you actually can have that power. You can be aware of what's coming. Tune in to Astrology TV with me for Breaking the Cage. Every Sunday evening at 10 p.m. Eastern on the Matrix Mind Media. And I will go through the astrology and help put you on the right course and get you back in control of your own life. Love you guys.
This CBD fluid is a whole flower fluid extracted from the cannabis flower. We don't use any heat, butane, or chemicals when we extract, so we get all of the components of the plant. All the CBD, CBG, CBA, all the terpenes, all the flavonoids. This allows our body to absorb at 60 to 90% rather than the average of 6 to 10% absorption you would get with a CBD oil. Because our bodies are made up of mostly water and this is a fluid, it's highly absorbable so that you're getting 500% more nutraceuticals per dose. We also have this available in our CBD spray as well as a muscle rub with all kinds of botanicals. You're going to absolutely love it.
Check it out, Brainiacs. MatrixMinds.live/CBD. The CBD I use. Feel free again. Feel alive again. And now back to the show.